I'd like to call the Tiffin City Council meeting of September 19th, 2022 to order. The invocation and pledge of allegiance will be led by Councilmember Reesner.
Please join me for the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I will now ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Councilmember Reesner.
Here.
Councilmember Spar.
Here.
Councilmember Thacker.
Here.
Councilmember Wilkins.
Here.
Councilmember Jones.
Present.
Councilmember Leopard.
Here.
Councilmember Perry.
Present.
Let the record show all 7 members of council are present. We are now under minutes. Minutes from September 6th, 2022. Regular and committee of the whole meetings were distributed. Are there any corrections, deletions, questions? Seeing none, the minutes will stand approved as presented. We are now under committee reports. Finance Committee, Councilmember Reesner.
Thank you, Madam President. On September 13th, the Finance Committee met at Council Chambers on the 2nd floor. The meeting was called to order at 5:15 p.m. Attending were committee members Cheyenne Thacker, Steve Leopard, John Spar, and Kevin Reesner. Also attending were Mayor Don Iontuno, Director of Law Brent Howard, City Administrator Dale Thornton, and Parks Director Bryce Kuhn. The purpose of the meeting was to review and discuss Mayor's request for legislation 21-19 regarding a grant through H2O Ohio for Hedges Boyer Park and any other business to come before the committee. Bryce provided a summary of the area concern, which included about 5 to 7 acres and a hill near Rock Creek. He noted that there is a history of erosion along the creek bank and flooding in this area. The objective is to enter into an agreement with H2O Ohio and Soil Conservation for a grant to fund educational wetlands. Some examples of current uses presented are a launching point for 4th of July fireworks, the cross-country carnival path, and sledding in the winter. Some future options include wildflowers, wildlife habitat, and other various wetland options. Once an agreement is entered, design could begin in 2023 and the build in 2024. Educational signage would be placed in the affected area. The exact size of the grant was not known at the time of the meeting. He noted the deed needs to reflect the educational use of the area. He also noted maintaining the City Council's 3 reading rule will still allow enough time for him to move forward. Steve Leopard commented, "This is a good use and educational tool for the park." Steve Leopard motion to accept the request as written concerning the mayor's request for a grant through H2O Ohio for Hedges Boyer Park, and it was seconded by John Spar. The motion was approved 4-0. Seeing no other business, the meeting adjourned at 5:24 p.m. And that concludes my report, Madam President.
Thank you. Any questions regarding that report? All right, thank you. Seeing none, Lawn Community Planning, Councilman Leopard.
No report, Madam President.
Thank you. Materials and Equipment, Councilman Jones.
No report at this time, Madam President.
Thank you. Personnel and Labor Relations, Councilmember Perry.
No report at this time, Madam President.
Thank you. Recreation and Public Property, Councilmember Wilkins.
No report, Madam President.
Thank you. Street, Sidewalks, and Sewers, Councilmember Thacker.
Yes, thank you. A street sidewalk sewer committee meeting was held September 12, 2022 at 5:15 p.m. in the Tiffin City Hall Council Chambers. Attending were committee members Cheyenne Thacker, Kenneth Jones, Kevin Reesner, and Stephen Leopard, along with City Engineer Matt Watson, City Law Director Brent Howard, Mayor Don Iontuno, and City Administrator Dale Thornton. Thacker called the meeting to order and stated the purpose of the meeting was to discuss the mayor's request for legislation 22-32, 22-33, 22-34, 22-35, 22-36, and any other business presented. Watson informed the committee of the long-term control plan approved by the Ohio EPA for the sanitary sewer system, which includes the separation of combined sewers in the city and other improvements, and provided a map of the projects along with a schedule of these projects that are required by the Ohio EPA. These projects include the following: Equalization EQ Basin Project, Main Interceptor Project, Benner Street Interceptor Project, Inflow Reduction CSO Basin 9, 10, 11, 12, and 15 project, among other future projects not discussed, and including EPA mandated long-term control plan implementation assistance. All of these projects must be started and completed in the next several years due to our long-term control plan approved by the Ohio EPA. The purpose of the long-term control plan is to reduce the amount of sewer overflow events to the Sandusky River and nearby creeks. The city is required by the EPA to reduce to 4 overflow events per typical year. Currently, hundreds of overflow events happen in a typical year. For the purpose of clarification, in these minutes, the projects have been numbered. For all projects, the city will apply for grants to offset the high cost of these projects. Project 1, the EQ Basin. The EQ Basin has a 10.5 million gallon capacity. The EQ Basin is a holding tank that increases the capacity of the sewage treatment plant. The project has a permit to install PTI submittal deadline of June 1st, 2024 to the Ohio EPA for their review and approval. Construction would start in 2025 to be completed by July 1st, 2026. This project has an estimated cost of $40 million for design and construction. Leopard motion to approve Mayor's request for legislation 22-32, authorizing the city administrator to solicit RFQs for design services for the EQ Basin project. Reesner seconded the motion. Jones asked if the basin was gravity fed into the plant. Watson said that was the intention, but design plans have not been made. The motion passed 4-0. Project 2, Main Interceptor Project. The Main Interceptor is located at Riverside Drive and Jefferson Street across the river to Water Street, following the river north to the plant. The plan proposes to install a dual 36-inch line to double the capacity of the conveyance of sewage to the EQ Basin into the plant. The project has a permit to install PTI submittal deadline of June 1st, 2025 to the Ohio EPA for their review and approval. Construction would start in 2026 to be completed by July 1st, 2028. The project has an estimated cost of just over $19 million for design and construction. Leopard motion to approve Mayor's request for legislation 22-33, authorizing the city administrator to solicit RFQs for design services for the Main Interceptor project. Reesner seconded the motion. The motion passed 4-0. Project 3, Benner Street Interceptor Project. The Benner Street Interceptor is a new proposed line as part of the long-term control plan that runs along Benner Street. The current line for the properties along Benner Street is down in the bed of the river. This plan would divert those lines to the road instead and better convey the sewage to the Main Interceptor. The project has a permit to install PTI submittal deadline of June 1st, 2025 to the Ohio EPA for their review and approval. Construction would start in 2026 to be completed by July 1st, 2028. This project has an estimated cost of $35 million for design and construction. Leopard motion to approve Mayor's request for legislation 22-34, authorizing the city administrator to solicit RFQs for design services for the Benner Interceptor project. Reesner seconded the motion. The motion passed 4-0. Project 4, Inflow Reduction CSO Basin 9, 10, 11, 12, and 15 project, Phase 1. This project will help to separate stormwater and sewage lines along the Benner Street Interceptor project. This will help to reduce the amount of water going to the plant by pushing stormwater to the river. The project has a permit to install PTI submittal deadline of June 1st, 2025 to the Ohio EPA for their review and approval. Construction would start in 2026 to be completed by July 1st, 2029. This project has an estimated cost of $22 million for design and construction. Leopard motion to approve Mayor's request for legislation 22-35, authorizing the city administrator to solicit RFQs for design services for the Inflow Reduction CSO Basin 9, 10, 11, 12, and 15 project Phase 1. Jones seconded the motion. The motion passed 4-0. Project 5, EPA mandated long-term control plan implementation assistance. Because of the size and specificity of these projects, extra assistance is necessary. A consultant would help with getting grants and loans to offset the cost, talk with the EPA, and be a middle person to negotiate with them, review plans for the projects, keeping track of inflation for project costs. A consultant would have an estimated cost of $65,000 per year. Leopard motion to approve the mayor's request for legislation 22-36, authorizing the city administrator to solicit RFQs for the EPA mandated long-term control plan implementation assistance. Reasoner seconded the motion. The motion passed 4-0. To ensure we can account for all of the costs associated with the Ohio EPA mandated long-term control plan in our budget for next year, Watson requested that all legislation include an emergency for the approval of mayor's request for legislation 22-32, 22-33, 22-34, 22-35, and 22-36. Reasoner moved to add the emergency to aforesaid legislation. Leopard seconded the motion. The motion passed 4-0. Leopard left the meeting for another meeting. After discussion of the Ohio EPA mandated long-term control plan, the committee discussed the ODOT bridge inspection program. Bridges are required to be inspected annually with the exception of a few that can be inspected every other year. ODOT has a program to inspect bridges and solicit RFQs for these inspections. ODOT pays for all costs associated with the inspections. Reasoner motioned to direct the law director to prepare legislation to enter into an agreement with ODOT for bridge inspections and declaring an emergency. Jones seconded the motion. The motion passed 3-0. With no further business, the committee adjourned at 6:20 p.m.
And what kind of mean person assigned all those things to your committee? Are there any questions? Okay, thank you. Well done. Economic development and downtown planning, Councilmember Spar.
No report, Madam President.
Thank you. We are now under committee of the whole. Does anyone see the need for another committee of the whole meeting? Okay, we are now under reports of the officers. Her Honor, Mayor Dawn Yanatuno.
I will try to go through this quickly. It looks bad, but it's big print, so it should be okay. But I want to start this evening. Is Mr. Griffin back in here? Okay. So we have two proclamations this evening, so I'd like to start with Deaf Awareness Month. And so, mayoral proclamation, whereas Deaf Awareness Month started in 1958 with the focus on improving human rights of deaf persons, expanding the instruction of national sign languages, access to education, and access to information technology and services. And whereas International Week of Deaf People 2022 is celebrated September 19th through the 25th with the theme Building Inclusive Communities for All. And whereas the deaf population includes individuals born profoundly deaf who use American Sign Language as a primary means of communication and includes people with a range of hearing loss who use hearing aids, assistive listening devices, or other forms of amplifications and communication modes. And whereas, according to research across all age groups, approximately 600,000 people in the United States are deaf, and more than half of those are over 65 years of age. And whereas, according to the Deaf Services Center, about 10% of Ohio's general population experiences hearing loss or is deaf, equating to 1.1 million Ohioans. And whereas it is important to ensure that people who are deaf have equal access to the many benefits and opportunities available in our community. And whereas people who identify themselves as deaf belong to a cultural and linguistic community with shared language, social norms, rules of behavior, and history, this made our driving zeal for the deaf community grow. Therefore, be it resolved, I, Dawn M. Yanatuno, Mayor of the City of Tiffin, do hereby proclaim September 2022 in the City of Tiffin as Deaf Awareness Month on this 19th day of September in the year of our Lord, 2022. So is Mr. Griffin back in here? Okay, moving on. I would like to thank the many volunteers that worked last week on Safety Week at the Lincoln Pre-K building, teaching almost 900 students about fire, walking, and bike safety to all K-3 students at Tiffin City Schools in Calvert. Tiffin Police Department Sergeant Jared Watson, Lieutenant Jake Damani, Officer Chris Perry, Officer Doug Skornica and his dog Scout, and Officer Jordan Moore, and Tiffin Fire Department's firefighter medic Travis Staley, as we know and love him as Stay-Lo the Clown, Lieutenant Matt Gray, firefighter medic Matt Gebauer, and firefighter medic Nick Houston were all on site that week to help the children. We had our core group of volunteers who help every year and have all gone through the Citizens Police Academy. We had 95 parent and grandparent volunteers coming in to work with their children at Safety City. Also, thank you to our main sponsors, Tiffin Area Safety Council, Subway of Tiffin, and the Kiwanis Club of Seneca County. We've been doing this for 10 years now, and our core group is getting older. I do not want to forget to mention some very special young people from Heidelberg University. The men's baseball team helped us to load, unload, and set up Safety City Sunday afternoon. On Friday, the ladies softball team arrived to help tear down, reload into the transport vehicle, and unload into storage building for next year. They were all so helpful, polite, and fun to talk to. They set records on total setup and tear down times. It usually takes us 4 to 5 hours. We were done setting up in just over 2. And when we shut down, it takes several hours. We were done in just over an hour. And so that's how amazing they were to help us. So they were a wonderful group of young people, and we are blessed to have them in our community. So speaking of wonderful people, it is not very often that the Mayor's Award is given out. It is fitting for me to do so this evening. This award is being bestowed tonight on Sergeant Jared Watson of the Tiffin Police Department. All of your core volunteers and Academy students know you put your heart and soul into these projects and all the things you do. That's why many of them are here tonight. And so I have a proclamation for you. And I know you're so thrilled to be here. I can tell when you came in the room. So whereas Jared Watson was appointed on March 26, 2005, to serve as an officer for the Tiffin Police Department, and later was promoted to rank of sergeant in March 2013. And whereas Watson saw a need to increase public engagement and created a plan and class schedule for the Tiffin Citizens Police Academy, an 11-week program to teach citizens about the role of police in our community. And whereas Watson continues to organize the program, teach classes, coordinate schedules, and provide follow-up programming for Academy graduates. And whereas Watson continued his efforts to provide outreach to the community through the creation and organization of Safety Week at Tiffin City Schools. And whereas with his mother, Mary, a former Tiffin City Schools teacher, he wrote grants for the original tricycles, built the Safety City buildings, and wrote the program that is still taught today. And whereas Watson has continued to help with the organization, setup, and course instruction today. Now, therefore, I, Dawn M. Yanantuno, Mayor of the City of Tiffin, do hereby bestow upon Sergeant Jared Watson the honor of the Mayor's Award in recognition of the 10th anniversary of both of these programs, and to honor Watson for his willingness to go beyond the call of duty for the benefit of our citizens on this 19th day of September in the year of our Lord, 2022. Let me see. Sergeant Watson. We have a few special things. Which you can put these back on again. This is wonderful. And you also get this beautiful flag. It says Mayor's Award 2022, Sergeant Jared Watson, in recognition of your dedication to the safety of our citizens and embracing the mission of the education community through Safety Week and the Citizens Police Academy, both of which are celebrating their 10th year. This is for you, sir. And then we have this that goes up in our hallway. It's just an honor that he's up here tonight. He never likes recognition for being brought out in front for everyone, so.
Well, I appreciate your words, and I'm going to interrupt just for a second here. The reality is that maybe my name is on this stuff, but it's not just me. It's you. It's the folks sitting at this table. It's all the amazing folks in the audience here. I couldn't do it without you guys. This is our program, and it has been from the beginning. So thanks to all of you guys. You can get your name on here, but share it with me. You can come over and see it on my wall.
But for those of you that don't know him, he's being very humble. He created both of these projects and these ideas and brought them fruition. And since we all love him, is why we do what we do. And so when you say that it's all group, yes, it is. But we do it because of your leadership and your integrity, and we enjoy working with you. That's why we do it.
Thank you. I think I'm blushing.
Thank you for coming up tonight. I know you don't do these kind of things, so I appreciate you being up here. And thank you all for coming also. See if they need some show.
I know, it's pretty flattered.
We'll let you guys leave too if you want. What's that? Thank you. Thank you for coming. Oh, that's right, we didn't have cake. He usually ends his one thing with a cake when we get done with Citizens Academy. So moving on, to share some highlights since our last meeting, I did a spot on WTTF, ribbon cutting at Heidelberg University's Berg Bistro, 1850 opened back up after being shut for the COVID. I've done 5 proclamations, including tonight's 2. One was to kick off the Heritage Festival and the other to kick off the United Way fundraiser. I judged my first Heritage Festival pageant and was assaulted by the newly chosen queen. True story. That poor little thing was standing there with the bag, didn't know I was behind her, and went like this and smacked me right in the eye. And I told them, I said, I swear that thing feels like it had a rock in it. I found out Saturday afternoon that it had a big coffee mug in it with candy. So yes, it did hurt, but no black eye. Thank goodness, because I had a lot of events. But the queen and I now have fun teasing each other. She went to school the next day saying she slugged the mayor. And I went around telling everybody I tried to get the chief to arrest her for assault. So we're having good fun with that. I had a great time at the huge pizza party and sporting a very special shirt for the night. You may have noticed the Bryce Riggs pizza shirts going around. That was a lot of fun. I also had a great time being in the chamber-sponsored Heritage Festival Parade with 85 entrants. I tapped my first beer keg at the German Village. I had no idea how to do it, so they showed me how. I observed a controlled burn with the Tiffin Fire Department. It was something to see the drones' capabilities even with the fires. And I also observed first class seeing this when Stay Low the clown tells them to stay low because the smoke rises. I saw that big time Sunday. You could see that smoke was always billowing up above. And so their message of staying low is extremely important. They were also sharing with us that the drones at night, you know, how you can't see, but with the drones, it's like daytime and it blocks out the smoke. And so it was just very interesting watching and observing all this stuff. And the gentleman from TU were also explaining with the drones that they now have farm capabilities also, where they can actually plant the seed, spread insecticide. They just can't harvest it. And so then I was asking you, of course, well, how can it haul all of that stuff? And so I guess they can haul 95 to 150 pounds of seed and stuff, you know, bigger ones. And so very interesting. So I was asking all my little questions. And then upcoming events. So there's a ribbon cutting for TJ Willie's at 4 o'clock Wednesday, the 21st. That's this week. Recovery walk will be held at Hedges Warrior Park from 4 to 7 on Saturday, the 24th. I will also be doing a proclamation there. On Monday, the 26th, members of City Council and the City Administration will be touring the Rumpke Recycling Center. The 27th, I will be heading to Bowling Green that evening to meet with other Northwest Ohio mayors. The 29th at 3:30, we'll be cutting, or we'll be having a ribbon cutting at Hedges Boyer Inclusive Park for our new park. And Saturday, October 1st, will be Max's Miles at Hedges Boyer Park starting at 9. And so that concludes my report this evening.
Thank you. Any questions for the mayor? Thank you very much. Okay, Clerk of Council, Ann Forrest.
No report, Madam President.
Thank you. And Director of Finance, Kathy Kaufman.
Thank you, Madam President. I do have a report for the August financial report. Total receipts for the month were $3,814,601.76. Total expenses for the month were $3,130,637.24. The general fund unencumbered balance was $5,097,184.27. Income tax receipts for August 2022 were $897,792.54. Total annual increase in collections for August 2022 compared to August 2021 is $12,401.95. Year-to-date income tax receipts are up 13.05%. The 0.25% portion of income tax receipts that was transferred into Fund 215 for public streets for August 2022 is $110,828.29. And I want to draw your attention to that number. That is a corrected number. After going back through and reviewing, I found an error and it has been corrected, but $110,828.29 is the correct figure. In August, the city received the second half of real estate taxes revenues from the county. The amount that was deposited in general fund was $401,009.67. On Monday, September 12th, sewer revenue certified invoices for anything that was 90 days past due to the county auditor. And that ended up being around $394,201.76 for sewer assessments. We also sent sidewalk and mowing assessments to the county auditor on September 12th. The unexpended balance for all funds is $36,722,583.67, which is the same as the bank balances for the same time period. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Kathy. Are there any questions? Councilman Jones.
Thank you, Madam President. I was looking over the bank reconciliation that was applied to us ahead of time, and I just want the public to, and I know everything's spot on, and I just want the public to know that City Council is looking over these monthly reports, and three things kind of jumped out at me, and I just thought I would ask what they were and get an answer or an answer in the next meeting. I did notice 6 outstanding checks totaling $978,031 are over 1 year old. I think I asked this before. I thought we made contact with these owners and wrote them off the books after 1 year. So if that happened, did 6 people miss out on $978.31? I was at IGA last year, mentioned to them, Heritage IGA, you have a check for $23. You better get down to City Hall before you lose it. That was a year ago. And I don't have it in front of me, but I think Heritage IGA was one of these 6. So did they lose these dollars or did we reissue the checks?
Yes, Kathy.
So what we do is we do an annual report to council. So we have 3 checks yet from 2021 that are not a year old yet. So we wait until all of the checks that we have that are outstanding are a year older, and then I report to council and give the amount and the number of checks. The specific one that you asked about is IGA. I did contact them by phone. They've already written off the amount, and I asked if they wanted me to reissue a check, and they said, no, it's no longer on their books. She wasn't really sure what happened. So I don't know if something happened on their way to the bank, that the check was never cashed, it was lost, I'm not sure.
Okay. Well,
But yes, we have contacted everyone.
okay. Thank you for that answer and following up on that with Heritage IGA. That wasn't easy for you, but this is a little tougher one. On page 10 of 17, and I don't know what report 17 was on, or page 10 was on, We issued 3 checks to the IRS for a total of $167,788. And I guess my question is, maybe I know what is this for? I have written checks to the IRS myself, but not to the tune of $167K. So is that just normal?
Yeah, that's the federal withholding tax that's withheld from all the employees' wages, and also the city Medicare match. So those are quite large.
Okay, good enough. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Councilman Reesner.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to accept the financial director's report for August of 2022 and the bank reconciliation.
Thank you. There's a motion to accept the finance director's report for the month of August and the bank reconciliation for the month. Is there a second? Councilman Berry.
A second, Madam President.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Okay, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you, Kathy. Director of Law, Brent T. Howard.
Yes, thank you. I have one item, ordinance number 22-81, and tonight's packet on the agenda is for the approval of the city's participation in the bridge inspection program that ODOT provides at no charge for the city of Tiffin. In the ordinance, you'll see, and this ordinance was in large part prepared as required by ODOT. They have certain language that they want to see in the ordinance. And as a part of that, they included their scope of services. This is what they will provide. And you see under section 2 is a reference to an Exhibit A. Exhibit A is ODOT prepared general engineering services that that describe what they do in terms of the bridge inspections. If you look closely on your agenda, you're not going to find it. And I apologize for not including that. But what I will do is, it's almost virtually identical. I looked compared to the last time you approved a similar ordinance to participate in the program. ODOT hasn't tweaked their scope of services too much, but in general concept, they are going to go around and inspect all of our city bridges, and they will determine load ratings for some. They will come up with an actual determination for each one of what the rating is. And they'll provide that information to us to utilize in the future for repairs and replacements. But the Exhibit A, I'm going to pass it down to the clerk of council and ask that when Council Member Thacker moves for passage, that makes it clear in her motion that it includes the Exhibit A scope of services that ODOT will provide.
Any questions?
Any questions regarding the Exhibit A to Ordinance 22-81?
Would I motion to amend that, or is it not necessary?
Yeah, it's not been officially introduced. At this point, I've added it to what you signed. I just, for the record, though, since it wasn't part of the packet, that when you move to approve Ordinance 22-81, that includes the Exhibit A scope of services of ODOT. Any other questions? And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Law Director. We are now under written communications.
We have mayor's request for legislation, number 22-41, easement from Heidelberg University for storm sewer installation.
Mayor's request for legislation number 22-41 will be forwarded to the Street, Sidewalks, and Sewers Committee.
Finance director's request for legislation, number F22-40, to amend the 2022 budget ordinance 21-105 to appropriate funds into the police budget.
Finance Director's request for legislation number F22-40 has been prepared for as ordinance 22-82 in this evening's packet.
And then We have notice from the Ohio Division of Liquor Control for an application for change of stock ownership from Dunlap Brothers doing business as TJ Willie's.
This request will be forwarded to the Street Sidewalks and Sewers Committee.
That concludes the written communications.
Thank you. We are now under oral communications. Anyone wishing to address council may step to the podium, sign in, and direct their questions to myself. Okay. We are now under motions. Are there any motions this evening? We are now under resolutions and ordinances.
Resolution number 22-26, introduced by Steve Leopard. Resolution accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor and declaring an emergency.
This is the third reading of Resolution 22-26. Councilman Leopard.
Thank you, Madam President. I would ask for passage of resolution number 22-26.
There is a motion for passage of Resolution 22-26. Is there a second? Councilmember Spar, sorry. You'll second the motion. Okay, great. There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Yes.
Yes, Councilman Leopard.
Thank you, Madam President. I see on page 2, there are lines behind the council members' names. Are all of us, are we required to sign this document?
May I?
Yes, please.
In those lines, I just put your vote. Yes or no.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Any other discussion? Okay, seeing none, we will first vote on the emergency.
Councilmember Reesner.
Yes.
Spar.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Wilkins.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Leopard.
Yes.
And Perry.
Yes.
Emergency passes with a vote of 7-0. We will now vote on the passage.
Councilmember Reesner.
Yes.
Spar.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Wilkins.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Leopard.
Yes.
And Perry.
Yes.
Resolution 22-26 passes with a vote of 7-0.
Resolution number 22-30, introduced by Daniel Perry. Resolution approving mayor's appointment of Nancy Bailey to serve a term on the Fair Housing Board from the effective date of this resolution until December 31st, 2023.
This is the first reading of Resolution 22-30. Councilman Perry.
I'd like to ask for passage of resolution 22-30.
Thank you. There's a motion for passage of Resolution 22-30. Is there a second? Councilmember Thacker.
Yes, I'll second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Okay, seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the vote on the passage, please.
Councilmember Reesner.
Yes.
Spar.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Wilkins.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Leopard.
Yes.
And Perry.
Yes.
Resolution 22-30 passes with a vote of 7-0.
Resolution number 22-31, introduced by Daniel Perry. Resolution approving mayor's appointment of Scott Daniel to serve a term on the Sewer Review Board from the effective date of this resolution until December 31st, 2023.
This is the first reading of Resolution 22-31. Councilman Perry.
Yeah, I'd like to ask for passage of resolution 22-31.
There's a motion for passage of Resolution 22-31. Is there a second? Councilmember Thacker.
Yes, I'll second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the vote on the passage.
Councilmember Reesner.
Yes.
Spar.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Wilkins.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Leopard.
Yes.
And Perry.
Yes.
Resolution 22-31 passes with a vote of 7-0.
Resolution number 22-32, introduced by Daniel Perry. Resolution approving mayor's appointment of Jeff Kuhn to serve a term on the Sewer Review Board from the effective date of this resolution until December 31st, 2024.
This is the first reading of Resolution 22-32. Councilmember Perry.
I'd like to ask for passage of resolution 22-32.
There's a motion for passage of Resolution 22-32. Is there a second? Councilmember Spar.
Yes, I'll second that.
Motion, thank you. Is there a motion and, there's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Okay, seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the vote on the passage.
Councilmember Reesner.
Yes.
Spar.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Wilkins.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Leopard.
Yes.
And Perry.
Yes.
Resolution 22-32 passes with a vote of 7-0.
Ordinance number 22-81, introduced by Cheyenne Thacker. Ordinance approving the city's participation in the Ohio Department of Transportation, ODOT, Bridge Inspection Program Services, PID number 117554, and declaring an emergency.
This is the first reading of ordinance 22-81. Councilmember Thacker.
Yes, I'd like to motion for suspension of council's three reading rule and immediate passage of ordinance 22-81, and note it's including Exhibit A, scope of services of ODOT.
Thank you. There's a motion for immediate passage of ordinance 22-81 and suspension of council's three reading rule. Is there a second? Councilman Reesner, sorry.
I will second the motion, Madam President.
Thank you. There is a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we will first vote on the suspension.
Councilmember Reesner.
Yes.
Spar.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Wilkins.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Leopard.
Yes.
And Perry.
Yes.
The suspension passes with a vote of 7-0. We will now vote on the emergency.
Councilmember Reesner.
Yes.
Spar.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Wilkins.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Leopard.
Yes.
And Perry.
Yes.
Emergency passes with a vote of 7-0. We will now vote on the passage.
Councilmember Reesner.
Yes.
Spar.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Wilkins.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Leopard.
Yes.
And Perry.
Yes.
Ordinance 22-81 passes with a vote of 7-0.
Ordinance number 22-82, introduced by Kevin Reesner. Ordinance amending 2022 Budget Ordinance 21-105 to appropriate $20,000 into the police budget for the purchase of body-worn cameras and a new in-car system.
This is the first reading of ordinance 22-82. Councilmember Reesner.
I'd like to ask City Council to suspend the three reading rule and immediate passage of ordinance 2282. I'd like to motion.
Thank you. There's a motion for suspension of ordinance 22-82 and passage. Is there a second? Councilmember Perry.
I'll second, Madam President.
Thank you. There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we will first vote on the suspension.
Councilmember Reesner.
Yes.
Spar.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Wilkins.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Leopard.
Yes.
And Perry.
Yes.
Suspension passes with a vote of 7-0. We'll now vote on the passage.
Councilmember Reesner.
Yes.
Spar.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Wilkins.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Leopard.
Yes.
And Perry.
Yes.
Ordinance 22-82 passes with a vote of 7-0.
Ordinance number 22-83, introduced by Cheyenne Thacker. Ordinance authorizing and directing the city administrator to enter into an agreement with a professional design firm for consulting services and preparation of the engineering and design for construction of an equalization basin as a part of the city's sanitary sewer long-term control plan and declaring an emergency.
This is the first reading of ordinance 22-83. Councilmember Thacker.
Yes, I'd like to motion for suspension of council's three reading rule and immediate passage of ordinance 22-83.
Thank you. There's a motion for suspension of council's three reading rule and immediate passage of ordinance 22-83. Is there a second? Councilman Leopard.
I'll second the motion, Madam President.
Thank you. There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we will first vote on the suspension.
Councilmember Reesner.
Yes.
Spar.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Wilkins.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Leopard.
Yes.
And Perry.
Yes.
Suspension passes with a vote of 7-0. We'll now vote on the emergency.
Councilmember Reesner.
Yes.
Spar.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Wilkins.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Leopard.
Yes.
And Perry.
Yes.
Emergency passes with a vote of 7-0. We'll now vote on the passage.
Councilmember Reesner.
Yes.
Spar.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Wilkins.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Leopard.
Yes.
And Perry.
Yes.
Ordinance 22-83 passes with a vote of 7-0.
Ordinance number 22-84, introduced by Cheyenne Thacker. In ordinance authorizing and directing the city administrator to enter into an agreement with a professional design firm for consulting services and preparation of the engineering and design for construction of the main interceptor as a part of the city's sanitary sewer long-term control plan and declaring an emergency.
This is the first reading of ordinance 22-84. Councilmember Thacker.
Yes, I'd like to motion for suspension of council's three reading rule and immediate passage of ordinance 22-84.
Thank you. There's a motion to suspend council's three reading rule and immediate passage of ordinance 22-84. Is there a second? Councilman Reesner.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you. There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we will first vote on the suspension.
Councilmember Reesner.
Yes.
Spar.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Wilkins.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Leopard.
Yes.
And Perry.
Yes.
Suspension passes with a vote of 7-0. We will now vote on the emergency.
Councilmember Reesner?
Yes.
Spar?
Yes.
Thacker?
Yes.
Wilkins? Yes. Jones?
Yes.
Leopard?
Yes.
And Perry.
Yes.
Emergency passes with a vote of 7-0. We will now vote on the passage.
Councilmember Reesner?
Yes.
Spar?
Yes.
Thacker?
Yes.
Wilkins? Yes. Jones?
Yes.
Leopard?
Yes.
And Perry.
Yes.
Ordinance 22-84 passes with a vote of 7-0.
Ordinance number 22-85, introduced by Cheyenne Thacker. Ordinance authorizing and directing the city administrator to enter into an agreement with a professional design firm for consulting services and preparation of the engineering and design for construction of the Benner Interceptor as a part of the city's sanitary sewer long-term control plan and declaring an emergency.
This is the first reading of ordinance 22-85. Councilmember Thacker.
Yes, I'd like to motion for suspension of council's three reading rule and immediate passage of ordinance 22-85.
Thank you. There's a motion for suspension of council's three reading rule and immediate passage of ordinance 22-85. Is there a second? Councilmember Wilkins.
I'll second that.
Thank you. There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we will first vote on the suspension.
Councilmember Reesner?
Yes.
Spar?
Yes.
Thacker?
Yes.
Wilkins?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Leopard?
Yes.
And Perry.
Yes.
Suspension passes with a vote of 7-0. We will now vote on the emergency.
Councilmember Reesner?
Yes.
Spar?
Yes.
Thacker?
Yes.
Wilkins?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Leopard?
Yes.
And Perry.
Yes.
Emergency passes with a vote of 7-0. We will now vote on the passage.
Councilmember Reesner?
Yes.
Spar?
Yes.
Thacker?
Yes.
Wilkins?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Leopard?
Yes.
And Perry.
Yes.
Ordinance 22-85 passes with a vote of 7-0.
Ordinance number 22-86, introduced by Cheyenne Thacker. Ordinance authorizing and directing the city administrator to enter into an agreement with a professional design firm for consulting services and preparation of the engineering and design for construction of the inflow reduction CSO Basin 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 15 improvements as a part of the city's sanitary sewer long-term control plan and declaring an emergency.
This is the first reading of ordinance 22-86. Councilmember Thacker.
Yes, I'd like to motion for suspension of council's three reading rule and immediate passage of ordinance 22-86.
Thank you. There's a motion for suspension of council's three reading rule and immediate passage of ordinance 22-86. Is there a second? Councilmember Reesner.
I'll second the motion, Madam President.
Thank you. There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll first vote on the suspension.
Councilmember Reesner.
Yes.
Spar?
Yes.
Thacker?
Yes.
Wilkins?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Leopard?
Yes.
And Perry.
Yes.
Suspension passes with a vote of 7-0. We will now vote on the emergency.
Councilmember Reesner.
Yes.
Spar?
Yes.
Thacker?
Yes.
Wilkins?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Leopard?
Yes.
And Perry.
Yes.
Emergency passes with a vote of 7-0. We'll now vote on the passage.
Councilmember Reesner.
Yes.
Spar?
Yes.
Thacker?
Yes.
Wilkins?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Leopard?
Yes.
And Perry.
Yes.
Ordinance 22-86 passes with a vote of 7-0.
Ordinance number 22-87, introduced by Cheyenne Thacker. Ordinance authorizing and directing the city administrator to enter into an agreement with a professional design firm for engineering, design, and consulting services for the implementation of the city's sanitary sewer long-term control plan and declaring an emergency.
This is the first reading of ordinance 22-87. Councilmember Thacker.
Yes, I'd like to motion for suspension of council's three reading rule and immediate passage of ordinance 22-87.
Thank you. There's a motion for suspension of council's three reading rule and immediate passage of ordinance 22-87. Is there a second? Councilmember Perry.
Yeah, second, Madam President.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we will first vote on the suspension.
Councilmember Reesner.
Yes.
Spar?
Yes.
Thacker?
Yes.
Wilkins?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Leopard?
Yes.
And Perry.
Yes.
Suspension passes with a vote of 7-0. We will now vote on the emergency.
Councilmember Reesner.
Yes.
Spar?
Yes.
Thacker?
Yes.
Wilkins?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Leopard?
Yes.
And Perry.
Yes.
Emergency passes with a vote of 7-0. We will now vote on the passage.
Councilmember Reesner.
Yes.
Spar?
Yes.
Thacker?
Yes.
Wilkins?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Leopard?
Yes.
And Perry.
Yes.
Ordinance 22-87 passes with a vote of 7-0.
Ordinance number 22-88, introduced by Kevin Reesner. Ordinance authorizing the city administrator to prepare and submit an application to participate in the H2 Ohio program for the development of an educational wetlands at Hedges Boyer Park to execute contracts as required and declaring an emergency.
This is the first reading of ordinance 22-88.
Ordinance number 22-89, introduced by Cheyenne Thacker. Ordinance adopting a dispute resolution and administrative claims process for the city's LPA projects and declaring an emergency.
This is the first reading of ordinance 22-89. Councilmember Thacker.
Yes, I'd like to motion for suspension of council's three reading rule and immediate passage of ordinance 22-89.
Thank you. There's a motion for suspension of council's three reading rule and immediate passage of ordinance 22-89. Is there a second? Councilmember Leopard.
I'll second the motion, Madam President.
Thank you. There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Councilmember Perry.
I was just going to ask about the substance of it and the purpose behind the ordinance, so.
Law Director.
Yes, thank you. This is something that came up midweek after the Street Sidewalk and Sewer Committee meeting. It was something that we need to do on a rather urgent basis. The city engineer came to me and said that he's been in contact with ODOT about our LPA projects, local public agency projects. And we have, if you recall, been participated in many of those projects over the years. And what they are is they're federal money that flows through ODOT. ODOT is bound to administer the programs. Things like the Ellis Street Bridge was an LPA project. Our urban paving program is an LPA project. And for us to participate, we have to comply with certain federal rules. One of the rules is that we have a dispute resolution process that, so they kind of check the box saying that we've done that. And if you read the exhibit to the ordinance, the dispute resolution process is designed to have communication between the contractor and the city to try to resolve any disputes before they would turn to something greater, litigation in court. In the past, we have had this similar type of process, but in talking to ODOT, and I spoke to a person at ODOT last week, they wanted a more formalized process by council ordinance and not just administratively put into the packet, so to speak, when we made application for the LPA projects. So with all that information, I prepared the ordinance. I talked to Councilmember Thacker, since it would be something of substance out of her committee, and she agreed to introduce it. And I said that I would make this explanation at tonight's meeting. And it is something that's urgent because we have LPA projects that are in process that we need to make sure that we meet all the requirements. So when we make application, we can check all the boxes. ODOT can be assured that we have this particular item in place.
Just out of curiosity, was somebody looking for a dispute form and we didn't have one, and that's what led to this, or?
Yeah, the Matt Watson is very meticulous, and he was going through all the requirements and noted that this was a requirement and that ODOT had said that they wanted a more formal approval of it. We went back and we did find that we had used a similar process, but again, it was not approved by City Council. It just was administratively thrown in because I think I recall many years ago when it may have been before Matt's time, the city engineer said we need to get a dispute resolution process, and we just came up with something administratively and put it in, and it's always been accepted until now. ODOT wants a more formal approval of it, and the form is also something that we got through ODOT too, so that it definitely meets their requirements. But if you look at, again, the substance of it, if there is a dispute, what they want is, and I think, again, this is coming from the federal government, to avoid immediate litigation, they really would prefer that there be a discussion between the contractor and the city to try to resolve the dispute before we go too further. And you see there's multiple steps. It's non-binding though, but it's hopefully to cause communication to resolve things.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Yes, Councilman Jones.
Thank you, Madam President. I was looking over this 2289 also, and I noticed on page 2, it's talking about submitting 3 complete copies to the city administrator and director of law. On page 3, it talks about submitting 6 complete copies to the director of law and city administrator. and I know don't want to kill trees, but can't these 3 copies and 6 copies just go to one or the other? Or is that part of, and be under step 2, item A, and step 3, item, I don't know what it is. Nothing. But it just sounds like a lot of extra paperwork to me.
Law Director.
Yeah, again, I didn't question a lot of this as I went through it. You know, you're talking about copies, the 6 copies go to who is designated as the dispute resolution coordinator. And so it's a different part of the process. The reason I just kept it the same is that I was told by ODOT that this is acceptable to them.
Excellent.
Odds are we're not going to get to this because that's one of the later steps. We hope we'll resolve disputes early on. But it is something that, again, checks the box. We know that it's compliant with ODOT and the federal requirements. So that's why I didn't really stray from it. I didn't create this.
Okay.
I just really accepted it.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, we will first vote on the suspension.
Councilmember Reesner.
Yes.
Barr.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Wilkins.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Leopard.
Yes.
And Perry.
Yes.
Suspension passes with a vote of 7-0. We will now vote on the emergency.
Councilmember Reesner.
Yes.
Barr.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Wilkins.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Leopard.
Yes.
And Perry.
Yes.
Emergency passes with a vote of 7-0. We will now vote on the passage.
Councilmember Reesner.
Yes.
Barr.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Wilkins.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Leopard.
Yes.
And Perry.
Yes.
Ordinance 22-89 passes with a vote of 7-0.
That concludes the legislation, Madam President.
Thank you. We are now under other business. Is there any other business to come before council? Councilmember Thacker.
Yes, so we received this notice from Liquor Control. And so I would like to ask, because it was assigned to my committee, if anybody has any objections to not requesting a hearing from Street, Sidewalk, and Sewer.
Councilmember Jones.
Thank you, Madam President. Councilmember Thacker, I really don't have an objection, but like you said earlier, committee of the whole, shouldn't we let the public know about this before? Are we talking about accepting this and passing it on to the clerk of council yet tonight
Yes.
without any public input whatsoever?
Yes. I don't know if I should technically, okay. I think in this specific instance, for me, the reason why I would not want to request any sort of meeting over it is that this is just a transfer of a place that already has access to a liquor license. And because there are new owners, from what I understand, we're just transferring the interest from the old owners to the new owners. So I don't personally see a reason that we would need to meet.
Okay, thank you.
But if
Law Director.
you object.
That's an excellent explanation. And one more thing I could add, in these cases, the Division of Liquor Control, they require fingerprinting for the new shareholders. So they will do a background check and fingerprinting. So you can be assured that, you know, they're looking into these individuals. Two things. They're doing that so that if they are worthy of meeting the standards by the state, they'll evaluate that. Your evaluation is that location. Is there an issue? Is there a problem? And this is TJ Willie's that's been there for decades. I think probably most of you know whether or not there's any issues or problems. In fact, years ago, you granted an easement to use some of their right-of-way for their in and out door on the side. So hopefully you have enough information on this one. I mean, it's a worthy point to bring up, Councilmember Jones. In certain cases, you may want to schedule a meeting and have public input. But you can also, based on the explanation that you've heard, you could probably move forward and not have a meeting.
Yes, Councilmember Thacker.
I guess, could I ask again that all of the members of Street, Sidewalk, Sewers, if you see a reason for a meeting, then could we start scheduling one? And if not, then can we approve it?
As a member, no. I have no concerns.
You have no concerns, okay.
Nor do I.
And I'm also in Ward 3 where it's located and a member of that community, and there's no objection.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes, Councilmember Thacker.
I'd like to set a meeting for mayor's request for legislation 22-41, easement from Heidelberg University for storm sewer installation. If we could look at our calendars and set that up.
If I could suggest, it's not required, but Matt Watson is out of the office this week, and I know he's been involved with this. I've worked with him on some of these issues, so I think he would like to be there, and I'm not sure exactly what his issue is. Probably on vacation. He deserves it, so let's schedule it next week.
Okay, that's good with me.
Could we make a suggestion? Could we do before our next meeting, maybe October 3rd? Like, it helps me to not, from a homestead point, to not be on 2 nights instead of 1.
Is there? I do have a question. Is there a reason that they would need it sooner than that, based off of your knowledge?
I don't know. I don't think that there is an issue or problem if we have a meeting the first Monday of October, and then the legislation is prepared for the second meeting. I don't think that that's a problem.
I'm willing to meet then.
Okay.
Would 6 o'clock be okay with everyone?
Which day?
It would be October 3rd. Okay. Then I would like to announce a meeting for street sidewalk sewer on October 3rd for the purpose of reviewing mayor's request for legislation 22-41, easement from Heidelberg University for storm sewer installation, and any other business that comes before the committee.
Thank you. Is there any other business to come before council this evening? Councilmember Perry.
Yeah, thank you. So at our last committee meeting for labor and personnel, we got into the discussion of compensation for city council, mayor, and director of law. And I felt like it was more important to bring everybody in, so we decided to table it and bring it in on other business for this meeting. I don't think we need to come up with a resolution or legislation tonight, but I wanted to give everybody just some facts, and then we could maybe dive into it deeper at our next meeting. So right now, just some facts that the director of law noted. You can't change a salary during term. So this wouldn't take effect till the beginning of 2024. Currently, the mayor is making $73,030. Director of law is at $55,000, and council makes $5,700 annually. And just started getting into some questions, with the director of law and the mayor about if they felt if that was a fair compensation for their work. I know myself, I feel like their roles have significantly changed and evolved over the last 10 years, especially with social media, where the mayor can be hit up from any angle at any time, any day. It's kind of a 24/7 jobs, with how easily accessible, the mayor is. And certainly director of law, how much time that you and knowledge that we get for, I know it is a lot of money, but not in the, when you're getting his kind of services, and how much we get of them. So, just something to think about, whether we would want to raise these, and get the ball rolling, or let other negotiations play out before we visit this. But we would like to get a final decision on this, probably by November, so it can be introduced. And I think we had till the end of January, second week of January, so we can be ready. So it could definitely want this to read out 3 times. not put a, suspension or emergency on it if we can. So, and I would welcome anybody, thoughts, or if you want to, save your questions for next meeting or whatnot. So.
And me personally, I 100% agree. I think it's very low for the amount of work, time, efforts that are put in and required for both of those roles. I think definitely, especially over the past couple months that we've had, I know there was definitely extra efforts put in by all. So I echo your comments. I think that it definitely needs to be revisited. Councilman Jones.
Thank you, Madam President. I couldn't stay for your meeting, Councilman Perry. I had another situation at 5. But, and I don't know how to do it, but can someone do some homework? And is 73,000 and 55,000 based on our population compared to Fostoria, Fremont, Findlay, Bowling Green? Are they in line with something? I mean, I don't know what we could come up with, but before I vote on something, yes, let's give them 2%, 10%, 24%, like the railroad. Oh, scratch that. I'd just like to see some comparative numbers before I just vote yes on this.
If I can just say really quick, we can, for sure do the research, but I do want to make note of how unique Tiffin is. Also the amount of development and the changes that we've had that have been positively impacted and by the mayor's leadership as well as others on council here. And I don't know that it would really be comparable to some of those cities that you mentioned, but I think it's worth doing some research to show the comparison. Councilmember Thacker.
I was just going to say almost exactly what you said. We did talk about that in the meeting a bit. We talked about how unique the position of mayor is in each city, and that in each city, the mayor's role and the law director's role can be very different. Probably we don't meet as much as Columbus, but maybe we have more than other unnamed communities. So I don't want to specifically call out anyone, but it can be a very unique situation, and maybe we need to take into account the work that the people who have done it in the past and what we anticipate the people in the future will do instead of other communities.
Councilmember Perry.
Something also to note, I know the city administrator mentioned there is, I think Director of Law as well, there is a minimum amount for the PERS account, which I think currently we're at 5,700 annually. I think this one was close to 700 and some, I forget. Dale sent me the email, but that was monthly, to be able to for that to count for 1 year for the retirement. Right now, I know myself, having 3 years, I think I only have, 2.6 or whatever. It's not a full, you don't get credit for a full year. And I'm not suggesting that we raise it that much either. I'm just throwing out, and it is a unique situation as well where all 7 seats are up for election. So this is a good time to look at it because we wouldn't be directly, benefiting any of us because all of our seats are going to be open.
Thank you. Any other discussion on this or questions at this time? Do you just intend to raise this under other business again at the next meeting?
That was my intention. I wanted everybody's input on it just because I didn't want 3 people to, bring up such a complex issue and have the law director make legislation and then somebody not like something in it and go back to the drawing board. So I felt it was just better to get everything out on the table and we could all discuss it as a group rather than, half the group.
Sure. Okay. Anything else? Yes, Councilman Jones.
On other business, correct?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yep, you're good.
I got a phone call from an individual, not even in the second ward, but concerned citizen. And they asked me if I follow Seneca Scanner, and I'm not sure what Seneca Scanner is. Thought I should review it, which I did. Lady with children walks on Washington Street into town. I guess, between St. Francis Avenue and Cherry Street, which is, according to the fourth ward map, is it fourth ward map? It is in the fourth ward. Asked me what I could do about that, and I said what I could do about it is pass it on to Councilmember Perry and ask him to check on this situation and see what can be done about it. They said, is that all I was going to do? Well, that's my intent, to answer your question on the phone. He or she suggested I bring it up at the meeting tonight. It sounded like they're going to listen into the meeting to see if I would follow through with what I said I was going to do. So I brought it up at the meeting. I can email Councilmember Perry, ask him to look on that item. So I brought it up, follow up with Councilmember Perry.
Councilmember Spar.
I'm just, what is the concern? Somebody's walking, sidewalks, okay. Lack of sidewalks.
Sidewalks.
That it, okay,
Correct.
thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Councilman Jones.
And one other thing, and I don't know about it, committee of the whole, you asked about that earlier and I didn't raise a concern about that. Speaking of that, sidewalks, I was hoping we could have a public meeting somehow and discuss this sidewalk situation when it comes to our 2023 budget. And the reason I'm bringing that up is another person in this room brought up the idea. I jumped on it real quickly. The $100,000 we, City Council, put in the budget for downtown facade enhancement program, I would suggest we look at that before the 2023 100-page budget comes in front of us and saying, let's vote on this. I would like to have a discussion among City Council saying, is there some other way we can spend this $100,000, either 50 to the downtown enhancement, 50 to the sidewalk program in the 4 wards. So I guess, is it possible to have a meeting to discuss this or just wait till we get the budget in?
Mayor, did you have a comment?
Yeah, Councilman Jones, it doesn't work that way. With the sidewalk program in the past, what happens is community members can, we designated area, the community member can pay for it themselves, or we can put it on their taxes. And so what happens with that is we have to have the money there available to pay for it through the taxes. And so the 100,000 isn't going to work that way. And that's why City Engineer Matt Watson has come up with a different plan that, yes, we should discuss that more, where he's talking about maybe a year or two out warning wards when it's going to hit them in conjunction with when we're doing streets, because we're handicapping streets that have no sidewalks. And so, yes, I agree that we need to be doing something, but I don't think it should hinder the facade enhancement program, because there is tremendous development downtown thanks to that money. Aaron, what is the exact amount that we've raised over the years? I can't remember how many million.
The return on investment is averaged between $3.50 to 1 to a high of $7.50 to 1 per year.
So development, that's why the downtown is thriving, because it does help with that. And so I understand your concern about it, but we've got to look at it so that the city is able to finance those sidewalks also. And so we do want to do it. We need to work with Matt on that to see what he recommends.
Okay, I'll bring it up at a later date, I guess.
That's fine.
Anything else to come before council this evening? Okay, seeing none, we will adjourn. Thank you all.
Going to Reno's? That's what the council used to do. Fourth Ward always.